Welcome to the Wildverse podcast, where we introduce you to the wild world of taxidermy, a place where artists and hunters collide. I'm Heather.
And I'm Ashley.
And for this week's episode, we thought that we would have a recap of the taxidermy shows that I attended in Maryland and Pennsylvania here in the month of March.
I know I haven't really got to talk with you about the shows at all, so I am very excited to hear how everything went.
Yeah, I am super excited to tell you because we really haven't gotten to talk, like you said, and there's so much to fill you in on. So I not only got to see a bunch of super awesome work, but I also got to meet some awesome people. I participated in a mount off and also have my first experience in the competition room when the judges pick their award winners. So I guess I should ask you where you would like me to start.
Yeah, how cool, man. So I think we should start with the Maryland show since that's the one that came first and you attended that one at the beginning of the month. So how did you like it, the Maryland show?
So I actually thought it was pretty good. I had went to the Maryland show, man, years ago when I first, it's probably only maybe 2 years into competing. I went down there because it's pretty close to me. It only takes an hour and a half or 2 hours. It's actually closer than our Pennsylvania show.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, they had it in it was a big, it was just a huge hotel. It's a big hotel that then attaches to a convention center. But in the middle of the hotel and the convention center, there's this big sports betting place. Yeah, with all the big screens and big sitting area, and the restaurant that's in there has all the horse races and whatever else on the screens. So that was my first experience eating in a restaurant like that.
Is it just like a sports bar type thing? But I guess maybe I've never even been to something like that. Sports bar? No.
Yeah.
What'd you say? It was a
sports betting bar.
Betting bar?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So they have the bar part, but it's all open and connected to where you can walk up and bet on these horse races and stuff that are happening in other places. And so, we're sitting there and we're getting something to eat, and you'll have a guy beside you yeah, 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 yeah. And then you hear him get all excited and you're oh, this is new. I never experienced this before. But the food was really good. We got crab cakes and they were huge. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a different experience.
Huh, that sounds like an interesting place. And then crab cakes, Maryland is known for crab.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, they better be good. So yeah, so that was kind of the whole atmosphere of it. The convention part was nice. You kind of walked into a nice big open area, which then took you into typical banquet rooms. And they had a nice little suppliers area set up, 2 small seminar rooms, and then they had their their competition room area. Everybody was super nice, really super welcoming and stuff. So that was kind of nice.
And because you said you attended this show a long time ago, it's been a while since you've attended Maryland, though.
Yeah. I didn't go back for a little while. I mean, mainly, I guess, one year traveling, but back when I went the first time, it was in, I always want to say a Ramada, but it wasn't a Ramada. It was an old Days Inn that then got bought by somebody else, and it was really sketchy. I think rooms were flooding, and there were crackheads in the hallways.
Okay, so then this was years ago, not this
Yes.
show.
No.
This show is a lot better.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, this show was good. It was in a nice area. There was a lot of really nice restaurants all around. It was really nice. It was an easy drive there. Yeah, I can't say anything bad about this one. But that's kind of why, you go somewhere and it wasn't anything super fancy, so you didn't go back for a while, and I thought I should some content, for this, and also just kind of support other shows because it's nice meeting people from other states.
Yeah, and it's always fun to see how different shows operate, and then obviously to see the work there. So when you went through the showroom, was there any mounts that stood out to you, anything like that? The first thing that comes to mind when I say any mounts that stood out to you.
So the first thing that comes to mind is because I've never seen anything like it. They had a interpretive division. I know in Pennsylvania we have a miscellaneous, and I don't know if it's the same type of thing, but this guy had done this piebald deer, and I'm sure you've probably seen it in the walkthrough video. It's one of the first, probably the first mount that pops up in the video, and it's hanging on a wall, and it's this piebald buck that's almost kind of cut like a rug, it's rounded off on its legs, but its head's mounted and it's turned, and it's this flat art piece of thing. That was, like, unique. I had never seen that before. I think the same guy did these 2 sika deer, like a I feel like they're called a stag, and maybe I don't know if it's called a doe or a cow. I don't think they're called a buck and
They're
yeah,
males, they're called. I think it's a stag too, I actually don't know.
yeah. Well, there was a male and a
Male?
female.
Okay. Yeah, what do they call them? Sometimes things are called, like, stags and hinds. You ever hear that
Okay,
much?
yeah. I think I have
That's
heard that.
I don't know if they were that, though.
Yeah. They're cute, they're cool, like, they're neat little animals. They're very unique, but he had, like, them kind of like this running scene through a swamp, and that was, like, really unique. There were some blue crabs there fighting that I thought were really cool because he had them on, like, piers
Oh, crabs?
and yeah,
Like
and they were
okay, cool.
yeah, they were, like, in the sand and they were, like, dueling and I don't know, they're pretty neat.
That's cool, that's very Maryland
Yes,
to
like,
see.
yeah, expect to see some blue crabs at a Maryland show. But so you know what was really strange though is they decided this year, I guess because the show had gotten a bad rap back kinda like when I went to that crappy hotel, that there was like, behind the scenes, like, decisions, like, people were getting, like, ripped off type of deal, if you know what I mean?
Like, no, I don't. What do you mean?
So
Like, was
oh
there,
my
like,
gosh,
what's the word? Like,
like politics.
yeah, there
Yes.
you go. Was there a lot of, like, politics going on?
Yes, like, back in the day, apparently, there was this whole ordeal with that. So they're trying to make sure that people know, like, that is not the case now, and they left the competition room open, like, all day, every day, other than when they placed the ribbons.
Oh, so, like, while judging was going on, like, could you walk around and
Yeah,
oh, yeah, that's
yeah.
different.
I was kinda wondering what the judges thought of that just because you're trying to focus on this mount, and people end up talking to you.
Yeah, or, like, looking over your shoulder, like, what you writing down? So, that's
Yeah.
what I would be like. I don't know, that's different.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was different. I mean, they didn't have any complaints or anything, and nothing bad happened, so it worked out really well. It was just very different that you could just walk in there and walk around.
Oh, I wonder if it's gonna be like that next year. I assume it would be consistent with that, and I'm supposed to be a part of that next year at the Maryland
Yeah,
show, so
yeah, that'll
that's
be you judging with people looking over your shoulder, huh?
yeah, I'm like, "Wait a minute." I need, like, remember during COVID, people made, like, barriers that went around them.
Yes.
I'm gonna need one of those.
I was gonna say if I
Like a
come
big
there and
hula
scribe
hoop.
for you, maybe I need to get like, I'll be your defense.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Yeah, we need, like, big hula hoop things, and you can, like, fight people off.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it seemed to go, like, pretty well. I think because it's, right now it's smaller-ish show, you don't have, like, tons of people, like, flooding in there and crowding you all the time, but it was really nice.
yeah, I'm sure people are, like, respectful of the judges too. They're not, like, bugging them.
Yeah.
But maybe the judges like it too, I don't know. It might be a cool thing that, like, it's not so, like, serious, it's maybe more casual.
Yeah, it was definitely, I'd say, more of a casual scene, and like I said, all the people there were super nice, so they didn't really have any problems.
Okay, and so then you didn't compete, like, you didn't bring a piece to compete with there, right?
Yeah, I didn't bring anything.
But you did do the mount off,
Yes.
the mount competition, or, like was it a competition, the live mounting thing? It kinda was, right?
I guess it was. I didn't it was pretty much for fun from what I had understood from the beginning. It wasn't, like, gonna be judged. I had never done a mount off before, and I brought an axis deer that it was for a customer, and it had to get done anyways, so I thought I may as well take that, and it was pretty fun. I think I got there at, like, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, put this deer together by, like, 10 o'clock, and I left on Saturday before they apparently did judge it.
Oh, so it was
Yeah.
judged, or was it, like, a people's choice thing?
I think it was people's choice.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was all whitetails. So it was all whitetails, my axis deer, and a guy from Pennsylvania had a shoulder mount black bear.
Okay.
So the shoulder mount black bear is the one that ended up winning.
Was there, like, anybody doing birds, or is it just
No.
the game heads? Okay.
Yeah.
I know mount offs, they work differently sometimes, like, were you like, could you have stuff prepped beforehand?
Yeah, so this one you could have everything done. They even said you could have the clay work on your eyes done.
Oh, well, that'd be nice. You literally just put skin on at that point, huh?
Yeah. I'd say it's kinda like a sew off at that point.
Uh, yeah, a taxi off.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I know you had done a couple mount-offs too, or mounting wars, whatever you wanna call it. How are they judged and regulated and all that?
Yeah, so it seems like the live mounting type stuff is getting more popular. Like it seems like so many more places are adopting that kind of style of competition, which I think is cool. Like so I did the live mounting or they called it something different like the live warrior or something at nationals, right? I
Mhm.
did that one and then I also competed at the one in Oklahoma last year and at Oklahoma they call it like the Calcutta because people.
Oh, I heard about this at the PA show. Somebody was telling me about this, and I thought it was the most interesting thing. So how does that work? What I didn't know
So
what a Calcutta was.
yeah, so it's like commonly like a like they use that term a lot in like rodeo stuff, I guess. But it's like people are betting on you to win. So while you're doing the live mounting right beforehand, like you're auctioned off. And then
Okay.
so if, the person who wins that or like so the person who's competing, if that person who bet on them to win, it's like a betting thing, you
Yeah.
also get a big pot. So like at Oklahoma, so I actually won that one. It was separated anyway. So at Oklahoma, it's separated into birds and game heads. Like
Okay.
there's two different categories going on. So obviously I was competing in game heads. I did a whitetail. And so the person who bet on me to win, how it worked, I got my money back and then a little bit extra, like my
Okay.
entry fees back. But then the person who bet on me won like $900. So
Jeez, that seems
yeah,
unfair.
I know. So like they got like part of the pot or like half the pot or something. I don't know how the calculations worked, but so that yeah,
Huh.
like they got a bunch of money for
Jeez.
doing that.
That you did all the work.
I know. I'm like, dang, maybe I should have bet on myself, but I don't know if that
Yeah.
would have been allowed. But then,
Huh.
yeah, so it's kind of cool. So like,
Yeah.
it's not just the person who wins is involved, or like it's not just the people competing who are involved. Like the crowd is also involved.
Okay. How do they vote on that one?
That one's the judges
Okay.
get to decide. And so, and then that one, you have like a bare mannequin. Basically, all you can set is your antlers. Like you have to like even scratch your form there.
Oh, wow.
Any alterations you make have to be done there. Okay, so anyway, enough about the Oklahoma one. The national one, that one was a lot different.
Okay.
So that one, you could have a bunch of stuff, alterations done on your mannequin, everything. You just couldn't have like clay work done. You couldn't have ears installed. So whether
Okay.
you're doing bond or earliners. And then that one was also judges picked at nationals. All the like single competitors were in the same category. So like competing against life size fish, birds. There was an iguana. Like everyone's
Okay.
together. And then they also had the teams of two and then teams of three, I think.
Oh, I didn't know there were teams.
Yeah, there was like you could have a duo. Like between nationals and Oklahoma, it was like so different. Just the whole competition atmosphere, and then like even how they judged the national competition. So like at the nationals, you could have like your whole habitat done. So that's where they just posted a bunch of pictures of like everyone who competed in the live mounting at
Mhm.
nationals. And so like a lot of people did habitat. They had their mounts on pedestals and stuff. And when I did it, I was like, man, I didn't know you could do all that. So I grabbed a tablecloth off the tables and I put it around my mounting stand just to like make it look a little more fancy.
Well, that was smart. I mean, that was the best that you could do at the moment.
Yeah, because all I had was like the black-tailed deer on the stand. I was like, man, my stand's all crusty. So I grabbed a tablecloth and fancied it up a little bit. And then that one was also judged by the judges there. I think they just walked around and picked.
Okay. So, I know I had seen some pictures from that I think they called it the Lone Warrior? Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew.
Yeah, that's where it was like Lone Warrior, and then like they had a different name for like the duo.
Gotcha.
I don't know, dynamic duo. They came up with some kind of names. Triple
Yeah.
threat.
Huh. I was wondering how the Lone Warrior, like, came about. It was a very different name than what they call other ones. I had seen some pictures from that, and it does seem I don't wanna say it's unfair because I know that ducks are hard. I've never done them, but I know they're hard. It just seems like, something this big that you can, I imagine, probably have, like, your bill painted, like, your legs are done. In how many hours did you have to complete it?
Oh, good question. So it was 3 hours one day and then 30 minutes the next day. That was exactly the same, both Oklahoma and Nationals that way,
Okay.
3 hours. But yeah, so like competing against, like a game head, which, you mount it up and it doesn't look finished all the way.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can kind of fudge it a little bit, but like competing against a bird that is pretty much done.
Yeah, I feel like you could do a lot of picking and preening and stuff in 3 hours, and then sit it like I saw this that I think he's the one who won maybe the mallard that I don't ever know how to pronounce his last name, so I'm not even gonna try. But it looked like a finished mount. Like it looked really nice. It was that mallard on a nice scene, like a nice habitat.
That was it the national one?
Yeah,
It
I
was
think
like a
it won.
sage grouse that won.
Okay, okay. I saw that one too. But I know that mallard placed something.
Yeah, like when you do a bird and you put it on a habitat, it's like, oh, look, it's like a finished mount. So that's where
Yeah.
I appreciate like Oklahoma. It's birds versus game head, or not versus, but like different categories.
Yeah.
But then again, it's like, man, you can't just have like a bunch of categories for live mounting though. So I get having it all together, but
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a tough thing. I guess it just depends on the judges and if they pick what they think. I mean, I always thought that they should pick obviously something that looks nice, but the person completed like the most amount of work in that short amount of time.
so yeah, at the national show, I almost think that's where like there was maybe I know I had a disadvantage because I didn't come up with like a base and habitat, but I almost think that like did the judges know that like people were bringing pre-finished habitat? Like they didn't make that during the 3 hours, like
Oh, gotcha.
which I'm sure they didn't think that, but I don't know. So it was like it maybe seemed like they did a lot of work during that time because they
Yeah.
did have like this habitat and everything.
Hmm.
But like I don't know. So it was almost like there was too many options at nationals. Like you could bring
Yeah.
whatever and put it on a finished base, finished habitat, and that was also cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a lot of fun, and it also, I think, if I remember right, had a like a good cash prize. Like
Oh yeah, that's
everybody
right.
got some cash, like up to what 10th place or whatever.
Yeah, so that one I got 10th place at that live mounting, which I was cool with because like again, I just had my regular old mount and put the tablecloth on the mounting stand. I got $100, so I made the money
Oh,
back that I got into it.
yeah, not bad.
I was cool with it.
That's all you can ask for.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
like oh, go ahead. Enough about my experiences.
I would just say so at the saying about what you win at the like Maryland show, for instance, you won. I think the winner just won like something in a plaque, but like everybody got a free hat and a gallon of Hyde paste from Pro One, so that was nice.
This episode of Wildverse is sponsored by Pro One Performance Chemicals. Pro One specializes in tanning chemicals for the professional taxidermist. They offer a complete line of tanning products to provide you with everything you need to tan your next hide. I really like their Pro Max Tan for my personal tanning projects. They make it so simple, it's easy to follow instructions printed right on the bottle. I actually used Pro One to tan the deer that I won with at Nationals, and I was using this same tan to tan some bobcats last week. It's super versatile. Not only does Pro One have you covered for all your tanning needs, they also sell Pro One Hide Paste, the industry standard in glue. Heather and I both use Pro One Hide Paste on every single mount. We love it. It has a thick consistency that makes it easy to apply to the form, yet it's soft and pliable enough that it can be easily manipulated under the skin after you throw the hide on. If you haven't tried Pro One Hide Paste, I am telling you, you are missing out. And now, as of 2024, you can order Pro One products directly online at pro1performancechemicals.com. That's PRO, the number one, performancechemicals.com. Oh, just for doing the mount
Yeah,
off?
yeah,
Oh, see,
just for
that's
doing it.
cool. That's a good
Yeah.
incentive, like for people just to do it too.
Yeah. So that's we also then for Pennsylvania did a mount off. Well, I called it a mounting war. But it's just a lot of fun because if you want a good social hour, it's a really good social hour for people to come and talk to other taxidermists. We had, I think, 3 deer heads, a raccoon, a duck, and a small bear.
You didn't compete in that live mounting though, do you?
No,
Or did you?
I was too busy.
Yeah, yeah, because you were like doing a
I
lot of
had
stuff
enough.
there, and you had a
Yeah.
piece there, and
Yeah, yeah, I was wiped out. I was gonna do something, but in case we didn't have enough people, but we ended up with like 8 people, 2 of them then couldn't make it, but we had the Maryland Association donated hats that had like PA Mounting Wars 2024. That was really nice that all the competitors got that, and I had the judges sign the brim of it, so that was kinda neat.
oh, that is cool. I'd like
Yeah.
that too. It's like a little extra thing.
It is, and then Paul Kales also donated a gallon of Pro One to everybody who did it as well, so that was nice, and the winner so I had it that you paid $10 to do it because we wanted just to have people do it, like, it wasn't gonna be s
What a great deal. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
like
just
that.
$10 and the winner gets it all, winner takes all type of deal. So the winner got, I think it was a total of like, I guess it was $80. A guy, this like Gary's pedestals guy, donated a pedestal to
Oh, to the
somebody.
winner, whoever
Yeah,
won it? Oh,
yeah.
see, wow.
And we offered a free spot in like one of the summer seminars that our association puts on.
Where you would normally, like, have to pay for those?
Yeah, like we would typically have like 4 a year, and 2 are free and 2 you gotta pay for because it's like involves materials and stuff.
Sure, like, supply costs or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what the
Okay.
winner of the PA one got.
That's pretty good. I feel like that's very practical. You win a base and you get a free spot at a seminar, and then you get a
Yeah,
gallon of glue just for doing it.
yeah, and a free hat and $80. So
Yeah, I'd be signing up for that too. Because man, yeah, like nationals, you got a cool ribbon, you got money. Oklahoma, since I won, I got actually a cool belt buckle, which
Mm,
that was like
I know. I wanna win a buckle too.
they're they're freaking cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. Oh, and then cash at Oklahoma too. So like they're fun. I
Okay.
think I like the idea of the live mounting because it just like you're saying, it just makes people talk and gets people like kind of more hands on, more involved, and it's just
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe because we as taxidermists, like, we get around the work that we do and it just like draws people out of their shell and they like talk and socialize.
Oh yeah, that could be.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. Everybody had a good time. We had like at the Pennsylvania show, we had the mounting wars, cornhole tournament. I set up like a skillathon thing with some of our trivia questions from some of our episodes.
Oh, did you really?
And yeah, I
Oh,
had
cool.
I had other questions as well that honestly I got this ready last year and then I lost it and couldn't find it, so I didn't put it out.
Oh,
But I got it this year. Yeah, I had the questions. I had little jars with things that we use every day, like Bondo, caulk, paper mache, antler set, silicone, flocking, like all this stuff.
oh, I remember you telling me about this idea, like with the jar thing. So
Yeah.
like, can you explain that a little more? And then like, what questions were you asking people?
So like for instance, the first question was like, when tanning mammals, what pH do you try to keep your pickle at?
Okay, so
And
like how we had that question right.
I think so. I think that was one of our trivia. That was another one of our trivia questions.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think you asked me that.
Yeah, and I had some animal identification. I put the question from our last trivia episode about the tool that was developed in the 1900s. I put
Oh, you
that one in
did?
there. Yeah,
How did that
yeah.
go? Is that
Nobody got it right.
really?
I know. Oh wait,
Oh,
wait.
that's funny.
One did because they listened to our podcast.
Oh, awesome. Man, that was
Yeah.
a hard one.
Those jars then were like where I had, I think it was like A through I listed, and then I had all the items listed, and then they had to match up. There was like letters on the jars, and you had to match up what went it with what jar. And at the end, I had a mystery box where you stick your hand in it and you try to feel what's in there.
Oh, like what the object is?
Yeah.
Like you Oh, wow, you had a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So, and we had free pizza that night too, like free pizza and sodas, and it was a fun night.
Was that the same time as the mount off competition was going on? So like there was all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff happening at the same time. And cornhole at the same time?
Yep. Cornhole tournament that, the winners got money. I think first place team got $150. Second place got, I don't know, 40 something. Third got something too. I don't remember what that was.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
It's
was a
like a
really
whole carnival going on.
it pretty much was. I didn't even think about that. It was like a taxidermy cornhole free pizza carnival.
That's fun. Man,
Yeah.
I'd want to go to Pennsylvania just for that experience.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So, something else that I did at the Pennsylvania show was that I got some fun content for us to share over like the next upcoming weeks from both of the shows. We already shared the one video from Maryland where I was asking the would you rather question from the last trivia episode about the
Yeah.
symmetry colorblindness thing.
That was a great video. Good job on that.
Yeah, that was fun to ask people because, like, you want to take a video of somebody and they're like, then you ask them and then they kind of loosen up a little bit.
Yeah. So, okay, so you said you asked people questions at the Pennsylvania show too.
Yes.
So what questions did you ask?
So on the first day, I asked like 3 different questions. One was directed towards mammal and deer people, and I would just walk up and I'd say, "Bondo or ear liners?" So I'd kinda like to know what your answer is on that too.
So the question was Bondo or ear liners?
Yeah.
Um, I wonder what other people said, but I competitions, ear liners, all the way. Commercial stuff, I'm like half and half. Like if it's something like I just did a sheep today, Bondo, but whitetail, I always use ear liners. So it kind of depends on species. I prefer ear liners though, if
Yeah.
like they're available and if I have them, whatever, I'd prefer those. But Bondo's
Okay.
cool too.
Okay. Alright.
What about you?
I'm kinda same way, like, it depends, like, mounting deer, like, I used to use strictly Bondo, but now, like, ear liners for deer and ear liners I don't know. Honestly, I always use Bondo for all my mammals, but now that somebody else preps all the hides and takes the cartilage out of the ears, I can't do that.
Oh.
Yeah, because like, mammals, you can put a lot more attitude like, small mammals, a lot more ear attitude in them when you use Bondo and, like, flexibility because everything has different size ears, and Bondo is a can make it fit whatever.
So do you prefer Bondo for then small animals? Like
Yeah,
that's your preferred method if you had a choice?
yeah, because I feel like, ear liners, you're kinda stuck it's not really like a deer ear liner where you can shave it down pretty easy and still not really mess up hair patterns a whole lot.
Oh, because it's just so finicky, like, one movement or one,
Yeah,
like, chunk of the ear liner you take out is it could affect the whole thing on a little guy.
yeah, yeah. So, I also asked bird people, whether they pin their wings or wire their wings, and I'll tell you, I had to ask a bird person for that question because I don't know
Yeah,
anything
I didn't know there
about
was
birds.
options on that. What?
Yeah, so apparently, I mean, you gotta watch the video to see what people's answers are. There's a preference between pinning them and not putting wires in them so that everything's, like, flexible, and then wiring them. Some people don't like to wire them because they can be, like, constrictive or something.
That's foreign information to me. I've mounted, like, a hole of, like, 5 or 6 birds, and I wired them. I think, unless that's just
Yeah,
not
I think
what
that's the
people call
typical way.
wiring them. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. How interesting.
Yeah, so like I said, you can see what other people's answers are in the video.
Yeah, that's cool. Learn something new about like bird taxidermy. Maybe that
Yeah.
would make me more inclined to do it if I knew there was more options. So,
And the last question I asked was for the fish people, and that was reproduction or skin.
oh, yeah.
There was a whole difference. There's only a couple fish people, so if you want to see what they have to say, you can also see that in the video. But most of them just were like, "Oh, it depends on what's."
What kind of fish or
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But it was super interesting to hear everybody's ideas and thoughts, and all their answers. Some people really surprised me.
Really that you had
Hmm.
actually some surprising answers too. That's fun. What was like the most surprising answer? Do you remember any like
I will say the most surprising, honestly. I went in and I was asking the judges questions.
Oh, you were?
Yes. So, Jenna Everidge was judging the deer. Abel was judging the small mammals. And so I went to Jenna first and I was like, Bondo or ear liners? And she said, ear liners all the time, no matter what. And then I went to Abel and I was like, Bondo or ear liners? He said, Bondo all day, every day. So that
Oh,
was
yeah,
kind of,
that's such a contrast between
yeah,
them two. I mean,
yeah.
they mount such different species anyway, so you can kind of conclude it to that, but the fact that they're like all the time, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, it's very different. I was surprised to hear that he used Bondo ears. I mean, I know that I like using Bondo ears better on cats, but I don't know. Everybody always talks about in competition you use ear liners. So I was surprised that he was a Bondo guy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I always say too, like I'm one of those people that are like always use ear liners in competition, but then of course I mean that might not be true for like small mammals and stuff. Or like cuz I've only competed with like game heads. Well, I take that back. I did compete with coyote and stuff once, but that was like way long ago. But yeah, I always say to use ear liners, especially if you're doing deer. Like I would not
Yeah.
even go for using Bondo, but
I know somebody gave me the theory that if your work is really good and you do Bondo ears really well, and the only thing that you're going to get hit on is that your ears are maybe just a tad thick. I mean, you can get Bondo ears really thin, but
yeah.
if your ears are just a little thick, like you're going to get hit on something if that's one of the only things you get hit on.
I don't know, but then why risk that? Like,
I don't know.
why would you go into something thinking like I am gonna get hit on this? So unless you do like Bondo where it's indistinguishable, which I don't know,
Yes.
but
I don't know. I mean, Abel said that's what he does on all his competition cats.
really, see that might be different than like
Yeah, like, you can get them thin, like, if you're good at them. It's you just work it well. But yeah, so that was the most interesting answer though that
Yeah,
I got.
that's a good one. Okay, so then that was, let's see, you asked a bunch of questions the first day. What did you ask the second day?
So I asked, if you had to listen to one song in your shop all day while you worked, what would you pick?
Oh man, that's tough.
I know I really put people on the spot on that one.
Oh man, what would you pick?
So I, of course, had time to think about this because I asked all these people this.
Yeah, and people probably gave you good answers.
They did. They gave some surprising answers on that too. So I would say like Bohemian Rhapsody or Freebird because they're very long and that way, and they have like ups and downs. So it might not get as old as like a short song would over and over and over.
That was kind of my thinking. I was thinking American Pie. Isn't that song like 8 minutes long?
Oh, yeah, that is another long one. Yeah, that one wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah, so maybe that one. But man, any song you have to listen to all day, you're gonna get tired of it, regardless of if it's
Yeah.
like your favorite song.
Yeah, I asked the guys in the shop. I told them about it this morning when I got back from the show. And the one guy, I'm sure he was just kidding, but he said that Crazy Frog song, that Axel
Oh
F.
God, what?
You would go psycho if you had to listen to that
I don't
all
even.
day long.
I don't know what song that is. I think.
Okay. It's that ding 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 da ding 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 ding
Oh
ding da ding ding
gosh.
ding 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 ding.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, no,
No,
I
I
would
would
die.
lose my mind.
I think I would. Yeah, I would. I'd start murdering.
Yeah. I will say, and no offense, this is a beautiful song and I like it, but I could not listen to it all day. Is Amazing Grace was the one answer.
Oh,
I just couldn't listen to that on repeat.
somebody answered with that song.
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
a beautiful song.
It is beautiful. I just feel like maybe all day long I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think I would need something kind of upbeat, probably.
Yes. So yeah, if you want to see other people's answers, you can watch the video clip and see what crazy ones we got.
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Okay, then, so what about the Pennsylvania show? What were some of the mounts that you really liked in the showroom? So I know, like, you competed. I really liked your piece. That was
Well, thanks.
maybe personal favorite of mine. I wasn't there, but you know,
Yeah. Well, from pictures at
I
least you
liked
could
yours.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, I think honestly, my favorite piece in the show, like okay, so there were the beautiful big cats and bobcat that like Ashley Barrett entered, which all his work is always gorgeous. But for some reason, this red fox that was focused on this little tiny little feather on a twig in front of it, I don't know. I just really, really liked that piece. It wasn't even like a nicely furred one. It was just an average red fox, but it was just the guy who did it just does really good, solid mammal work. Just nice. They're pretty. They're groomed well. That was one of my favorites.
Was that the only red fox in the room? Because I saw that in your walkthrough.
I think
In the
so. I think it was the only one. No, there's one on the wall, at
Okay, but
least.
it was the one like on the floor.
Yep.
Because yeah, it looked like a nice fox too. I didn't see the what it feather that he was looking at.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
catch
Yeah.
that in the video, so now I'll have to rewatch that. Side note for anyone listening, if you want to see walkthroughs from both Maryland and Pennsylvania, Heather took some great videos that are posted on YouTube, and you
Yeah.
can check those out of the whole showroom, walkthroughs.
Yeah. Yeah. They're kind of nice. The Maryland one, I just kind of went in order of everything, but the Pennsylvania one, I broke it down to whitetails, life-size mammals, birds, and like fish and amphibians and reptiles and all that.
Yeah, that was cool how you did that. I never would have thought to like do that to break it up into categories because in a showroom everything's like kind of all over the place, but you
Yeah.
took the clips and put them together, so that was really cool, and I liked how you did that.
Yeah. I think of like back when I was first competing and you just always want to see how your piece looked on camera, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
you're watching this video and you're scrolling and you're like, oh, I think that mount was
Oh,
close to mine. And then it wasn't, and then you just keep going. And then you
oh, and
finally
then
find
yeah,
yours, and it's this quick little like
yeah, it's half of it, it's blurry.
yeah.
Oh, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean. I've done some walkthrough videos too. I try, because there's so many sometimes, and like you're panning around. So, but you did a really good job. So I want to give you
Thanks.
praise on that one. Yeah, I liked how you
It
did
took
that.
some time.
No, you can tell you made a lot of effort there. So
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that for the world show when we go.
Oh
if
man.
there's like 600 mounts like what I hear there might be.
We're gonna have to like both tag team that probably.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that we would have to do that because that would be
if we're allowed. Hint, hint.
please.
Yeah. Just putting that
Yeah,
into the atmosphere.
yeah. But yeah, there was also some pretty cool ducks. Like there's this black duck that it was only in like professional, and I don't even know if it got a blue, but it was really pretty. I liked it. And there was a cool copperhead snake
Hmm.
that I thought was neat. It was just a little on a little artistic base, but it was really well done. And I've always heard that copperheads are really hard to do. So he did a really good job on that.
Okay, that's cool. I'll have to rewatch the video because I think towards like you had reptiles. I think at the end,
Yeah.
and so of course I was looking like whitetails. What's going on there? But
Yeah. Yeah, so it yeah, it went really well and everybody probably doesn't know, but since the cat is kind of already out of the bag a little bit, do you want to share the exciting news about the award that we gave out at the PA show?
yes, so we decided to put together an award in lieu of like the Taxidermy Today award because that's been kind of discontinued. So we did an award. Heather put it together, and it's like this really cool wooden design, and it's called the Ascent Award. And basically, it acts as like a runner-up award for the best of show. And
Yeah.
the Ascent, our idea of that name was like, you're almost at the top of the mountain, but you're like still on the ascent there, which I mean, kind of symbolic, but just a cool name too. And so you presented that at Pennsylvania, right, Heather?
Yeah, so I went up and kind of gave a little spiel about it and got a picture with the winner. And we'll have to share. He's going to take a nice picture of it in his shop with the award and be able to kind of give that to us to share so everybody can see the first winner of the Ascent Award. But the other place that it's going to be featured because he asked me about it and was super excited. He saw it at the PA show and really wanted us to send it there is going to be West Virginia.
Cool. So yeah, we'll have another Ascent Award out there. That's gonna be
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, and we'll kinda me and Ashley still have to kinda talk about that type of stuff and see, what all we wanna do as far as that goes. See what happens.
Yeah, because I mean, there's like the Woody Award. I guess I should have said not just the Taxidermy Today. So the Woody Award is no longer going to be given out at shows, and I know that was kind of like an award that a lot of people were wanting to get. It was like a what do you call it, coveted award. It was
Yeah.
kind of seen as like the runner-up best of show, which it kind of was or kind of wasn't. I think it was kind of like unofficially the runner-up best of show award, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like, they didn't really create it for that reason, but it kinda
Yeah.
ended up just becoming that. So that's why when we made ours, we figured we just make it the runner up.
Yeah, you got one behind you too, right? No, yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
do. Yeah,
And
right
then
there.
yeah, I got one behind me now, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's we tried to make something decent, and I think I'm gonna keep evolving the design of it because the one I put together was like a lot of work. Like,
Yeah.
and the wooden letters aren't the strongest. Like, I think when Ashley went to grab it, he grabbed the letters, and I heard it crunch a little bit, and I was
Oh
like,
no.
"Oh no!" I don't think it really broke them, but I was like, "Ah, ah." I was like about to warn him, like, it's kind of, and it.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It was still very pretty. Like the way you had it laid
Yes.
out and stuff, it was super pretty and like
Yeah.
so I'm excited to
Yeah.
see the picture and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see it with the mount. It was a really super pretty mount, and, it was neat to give out an award because I honestly hate to see a show lose an award.
Oh, I know, especially like one like that. There's
Yeah.
obviously some people are like there's so many awards, but they're still, there for a reason. I like the award
Yeah. There's a lot of hard
thing.
work goes into all the mounts, and if you get a little bit of recognition, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you said that you got to experience the comp room a little bit when the judges were choosing the award winners. How did that go? What was that like? Because you said it was kind of like an interesting experience.
Yeah. So I was not planning on doing it because I had a mount in there, but I also knew that my mount like wasn't going to be some like big award winner or anything. Like if I felt like I was going to be like in the running for anything super important, I probably would have said no. But because I kind of was in charge of ordering the awards for the show and I was like a big part of making sure all that was in line. The competition chairman wanted me to walk with them and read what each award was supposed to be for. And so I walked with them and I would read, like, they went down the list. I would read what each thing was. And then, the judges would try to think what would fit into that award, and I felt like the judges there did a really good job of kind of splitting them up. They made sure that it wasn't like so we have a lot of small mammal awards at our show, and I feel like they kind of made sure that it wasn't a whole bunch of like the same mount got like a pile of these awards.
Like they didn't all go to the one
Yeah.
that was kind of like the best of all of them.
Yeah, so got to see kind of how they discuss about things. They would walk up to a mount, they'd be like, they'd hear the description of what the award's supposed to be for, and then they would start kind of naming off, well, what about this one? What about this one? And they'd walk up to it, and one judge might say like, "Oh, I really like how this moves and this is here and there and the colors." And then the other judge would be like, "Ah, I don't really like this color with that, or like the flow's not right to me." So it was neat to see how they kind of ended up picking their favorites. There'd always shouldn't say there always was, but there most of the awards there might be somebody that was like I don't really like that one. Like I'm not really on board with that, but the majority would kind of win and pick it for that
Okay.
one.
So there wasn't like a ton of like arguing about it. Like they were
No.
all pretty much like in agreement of like which
Yeah.
awards went to which. And do you remember maybe approximately how many major awards there was at Pennsylvania? Like there, because there's quite a few, but
Yeah, man, I don't even know because like a lot of the awards that they would pick out. So there's awards that are picked by your score, awards
right.
that are picked by the public, like People's Choice, awards that are picked by other taxidermists at the show, like that UTA Artisan Award is voted on by members that
Oh yeah, that's right.
go in there. Taxidermist Choice is by members. The Mackenzie Taxidermist Choice Awards are given by members. So they don't have to pick any of those, but they'll pick like best bird, best turkey, most artistic small mammal, some memorial awards.
The breakthrough, like best of show.
Yes, Wasco, Polytranspar.
Yeah, the Pro One Award, right?
Yes,
Or is
yeah.
that dictated by score?
Nope. Yeah, that's score. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
now that he has the two awards, he has one for professional, one for masters. At least there's two of them now. Because he always felt kind of bad from kind of what he told me that, the best of show almost always uses Pro One and it wins it.
Yeah, because isn't there like in the description for Pro One Award, like the best of show, if they use Pro One, like they get the award? Isn't that
Hmm.
part of it? So like, and yeah, a lot of people are using Pro One. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. I got to tell you a funny little thing about the show and me being, it wasn't so much that I was in the room. I honestly didn't hear anything that they said because I walked away. It just came to a point where it was an award where it was between my mount and another mount, and I didn't know that until they walked towards my mount, and I was like walked the other way because
Oh,
I
you're
didn't want
trying
to.
like not
Yes.
to, like you, yeah, have your poker face on. Like if you're
Yeah.
like,
And I didn't want to hear good or bad. I didn't want to hear a judge say like, "Ah, I don't like that." Want to hear like I just didn't want to hear anything.
oh really? I probably would have been nosy. I'd been like, yeah, what do you want to say about my
you know,
mouth?
in the back of my head, I was, but I also was like, I don't.
Yeah, yeah, I see your perspective there.
Yeah.
That's probably the
So,
best way.
yeah, I walked away. I forgot what award that I won.
Oh, so what'd you win? You won. You didn't tell me that.
Okay, so I'll back up just a hair.
Okay, sorry. You were talking about being in the room when that was happening, but okay.
Yes, but before that, I, brought all the awards and ribbons and stuff to the show. Like that's my job on the board. I brought all these things. The one award that I couldn't get that I honestly kind of forgot about and then I never got a call back was the Brian Harness Memorial Award for the most artistic small mammal. That like bobcat on
Oh
the
yeah,
wooden
that
plaque.
the plaque thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just brought one from home because I have a couple of them, and I'm like, I'll just bring one from home. Like that gets like rid of one for me, and we have the
Oh,
award.
like you were like donating
Yeah,
yours,
like
kind of.
I
Okay.
had a few of them, and I'm like, it's like I don't need a bunch of them hanging around. I'll just donate it, and that works out great. That's the award I won back.
Uh, what a coincidence.
Yeah, yeah,
You manifested
yeah.
that, I think.
I don't know. I was like, yeah, well, take this back home.
Oh, that's cool though. That would be
Yeah,
a fun one to win. It's a pretty large.
yeah, it's a super cool one.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
thought that would have been a cool one to win.
Yeah, yeah, between the mountain in Alaska and that one, I think they're, like, some of the coolest like plaque awards that you can get there.
Yeah, because you got your
But
Mount Alaska one. That's another cool one that I'm like, "Man, I wanna win
yeah,
that," but I
you
gotta do
know,
something
gotta
a little more creative for that.
tell a good story with your mount.
Mhm. Yeah, so that's cool. So you didn't tell me you won an award there. I thought you just
I didn't remember.
it was probably such, like, a busy weekend, and because
It
obviously
was
you said, yeah, you aren't just going, you're part of, like, putting on the show. That's part of your role is, like you said, you
yeah.
bring in the awards and all that. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is, and we, like, have to set them up, you know, like, we have these state medallion thingies. Oh, geez, even
Mm,
this one's getting loose. So, you have to
that's like a gong.
screw them together. You know, they come in, like, all these different pieces, and you have to screw them together and set them all up, and so, like, that takes longer than you expect, and get all the awards out, and, like, you hope you have them all and you didn't forget anything.
It's like an IKEA furniture you
Yeah,
gotta
and
put
then they're
together.
like they put the crappiest screws in there for us, so, like, the first one we did just snapped in half.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah, so you just don't want anything bad to happen.
yeah. So, man, that's a lot. So then, of course, you got that going on, and then just the whole show in general.
Yeah, working at the registration table and dealing with all that, you know, you got a lot of really great people, but then our printer stopped working on, like, the first day when it's super busy and everybody's checking in, so we ran to Staples and bought another printer. It's the type that, Shaq sells, so we got a picture with the Shaq, like, cut out.
Did you? That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
Yeah, shout out to the folks like yourself who run these shows. It seems like so much work.
It
Like
is,
it's
it's
hard to think about sometimes. It's like I've never been a part of the show like that, like you have, but I just show up and people are running around doing stuff, and I probably don't even realize how much actually goes on behind the scenes. So yeah, kudos to you and everyone who put on the shows.
yeah, yeah. No, we were glad with how it turned out. The Pennsylvania show turned out super great, and Maryland was super fun. We had just such an awesome crowd at PA. I was up until like 3 in the morning on Saturday at the bar. It was just
Oh,
everybody was
dang.
socializing. It was just such a good time.
That's
So
fun. Yeah, no wonder you were texting me so late. I'm like, dang, what you doing up?
yeah, I usually go to bed early, but
Yeah.
I was up late last night. There were some good storytellers there and, you know, meeting people you don't typically get to talk to and hang out with. So that's what's fun
Oh,
about the
yeah.
shows.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, probably for most tax service or like majority probably, we're working alone. So then you go to these shows and then you get to like actually socialize with like-minded people and you're talking face to face. And so that's one of
Yeah,
the best parts about going to shows, not just the competing and
what you
awards and
learn. Yeah,
yeah, the seminars. Like you can actually like socialize and
yeah, it's a good time. So, what shows are you attending this year that people can kind of look out for you at and maybe get you to ask some fun questions or something?
yes, so shows this year. So I guess nationals would be coming up first. That show is in May, beginning of May, and it's in Missouri. I plan to go to that one. All these are like their plans. Things could change, of course, but plan is
Yeah,
to go to nationals in Missouri, and then Oklahoma. Of course, that's just up down the road. That's in June, beginning of June, just here in Oklahoma City, and then of course going to the World Show in August. Those are like where I'm going this year.
yeah, that'll be fun. I'm anxious to hear how nationals is. I'm not going to make it to that this year, but I will definitely make it to Worlds. And I will also, my only other show I'm going to other than Worlds this year is Louisiana. And I'm really looking forward to that because I need some
Yeah,
crawfish.
because that one's coming up soon. It's like in May, right? Louisiana show
Yeah,
is in May.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope it's not too soon because, you know, I kind of got to do a lot of work in the shop and build my funds back up after being gone for a week.
Oh yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Louisiana, I don't know. You're planning to compete and stuff, right?
Yeah, I have a few things I'm gonna touch up on the mount that I took to the PA show, little things that I can fix that I kind of rushed through just to bring something to the show. So I'll touch up a few things and take it to Louisiana and just participate because I kind of hate going to a show and not bringing anything because I know I love when our competition room is full. So I know other states do too.
Oh, I know. Like I even just like watching you go to these shows and like, shows have been happening like pretty often. The show season started. I'm like, oh, Sounds like so much fun. I want to like
Yeah.
my competitive nature is like stirring in my brain like
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I know. It gets tempting. You go, you're like, "Oh, I wanna compete," and then you start doing all the work that it takes.
yeah, and then you're like,
Ugh.
"Why did I do this?" But
Yes.
that's they're so much fun.
They are. I'm already starting, like, I am this week starting on my world show piece. I am not like, after doing my Pennsylvania show piece, I did all the things I'm gonna do for my world show piece, and now I know how to improve on those and how much time it actually takes.
Yeah, because what, you've got multiple months until the world show happens,
Yeah.
and you did this last piece pretty quick. I was like, "Dang,
Yeah.
you aren't giving yourself enough
Yeah.
time."
There
But you
wasn't a
did,
lot of
obviously, you had
time.
enough time.
And I was working, full time. Like, whenever I do my world show piece, I'm gonna, I can get everything like form and all the extras all kind of done in my spare time. But I think I'm actually gonna take off a week from my full
Oh,
time
yeah.
taxidermy job to like mount it.
Like, mount it and then the drying time and, like, all
Yeah.
the important
Yeah.
parts. Yeah.
Because that whole mountain it after you just worked 9 hours of the day, it's not fun. Like, I'll have days where I'm mounting like 3 bears in a day, and then we're done with that at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and now I gotta work on my competition piece.
Oh, and then
Yeah.
that I bet that's hard to plan, like, "Oh, I'm gonna work on my piece after an easy day," but, like, how can you possibly plan that? Like, trying to schedule both those things, it's like, well
Drink a lot of Bang energy drinks.
yeah. Oh, do you like those Bang ones?
Yeah, I found that the flavor black cherry vanilla is pretty good.
Really? Those always give me a headache. I'm a
Mm.
Monster person.
Oh, I don't like the taste of Monster. Maybe I haven't had it in a long time. Maybe my taste changed. I don't know.
It might remind you of, like, high school or something. Bring back, like, the taste of being a
Ugh,
teenager.
maybe.
Okay, anyway, let's see. So, you plan to go to Louisiana next, and then just World Show, right? Those are your 2.
Those are my two to go to, and we are working at trying to figure out stuff for the world show, whether we're gonna have a booth, whether we're gonna kind of move around, whether we're maybe gonna be featured in somebody else's booth to do some fun stuff. And yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where that goes because I think the way this world show is looking, we're gonna be able to meet some really interesting people and do some really cool stuff. And I don't know, it's really exciting.
Yeah, I keep hearing so much about the World Show, like, the hype and stuff is pretty large. So, I'm super excited. Yeah, it should be a good time no matter what, like, we end up doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd say that about wraps up this episode while we kick it back into gear for another great lineup of awesome guests, fun trivia episodes, and some super great informational episodes as well. Yeah, we would like to thank you for listening to our podcast, Wildverse, and we hope you enjoyed hearing about how some of these shows went between the Maryland show, Pennsylvania show, and there is a ton of good shows coming up. We also have that map that we put out of all the shows that are happening this year and like where you can find them. So if you want to see what shows are going on like in your area or in your state, you can look that up on like our Facebook and Instagram and all that. And if you would like to stay up to date on new episode releases, you can follow us on Facebook at Wildverse Taxidermy Podcast and Instagram at Wildverse Podcast. That's where you can also find that map at and all that.
Yeah, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Wildverse Podcast, to see when new videos come out. Or you could leave us some love on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen by leaving us a review. We hope you have a great week and consider attending your state shows. Bye!